So we are still on demand and supply. So in this class, I'll be showing you how to graph a demand function. For example, let's say we are given a demand function, given a demand function QD, or just Q, because we are told the demand function, which is A minus BP. And we are asked to illustrate this graphically by showing all the components of this demand function. So how do we do that? So here is the way. So we have a demand function. You draw your plane like this. This axis, on this axis we have the price. On this axis we have the quantity demanded. You have the origin here. So when you are drawing your demand function, okay, you want to draw, you have to graph it like this, okay, and you have to show all the components here. What you are going to draw is that you are going to draw from this axis here, from this price axis here, and you allow it to touch this quantity axis here, because we want to show all the components. So in other words, here, the price, if you look at this point here, and this point here, you see that at this point, on this point, this is the value, this is the P, that is the value of P. I'm talking about this point, the value of P when Q is equal to 0. And likewise, the value of this Q here, okay, here is the value of, that is the Q when P is equal to 0. Okay. Now, if you look at this function here, you have Q equals A minus BP. If you want to know this value, that's the value of Q when P is equal to 0, what we need to do is just to plug in 0 here instead of P. So in other words, we have Q equal A minus B, 0. So this will be equals to Q equal to A. So in other words, the component that is going to be here will be A. At this point, we have A. If I want to know the component that will be here, how will I know? I'll also find the value of P when Q is equal to 0. In other words, whenever I skip Q, I put 0 here. I have this function, I have Q equal A minus BP, then Q equal to 0, I have 0 equal to A minus B, P, then I collect the like that, okay, in order to make BP, in order to make P the other form of BP equal A, okay, then I have P equals A over B. So in other words, at this point I have A over B. So this is A over B, and this is what? This is A, okay. What does this mean? This A over B. So the maximum willingness to pay. The maximum willingness to pay. In other words, A over B is the maximum willingness to pay. The more we get to consumer welfare, we are still going to make this up. But get to know how to derive this. Okay. Apart from maximum minimum to pay, it's also known as what we call demand choke price. Also known as what? Demand choke price. Demand choke price. Okay. So what does this A? This A implies intercept of a demand curve of the like function. So A is equal to the intercept of a demand function or a demand curve, while A over B is equal to the maximum willingness to pay, or what we call demand choke price. So see you in the next class. Thank you.